My husband and I have been together 6 years, married for 3. Our relationship has always had a bit of trust issues from both sides. I figured no one is perfect and it never seemed that big of a problem. But obviously now with this situation I feel like I missed a huge red flag. And by the way, this is relevant, I am white and my husband is black. We had our first child 2 years ago, things were great, my husband is a wonderful father and very involved and supportive. Our daughter looks like a perfect mix of the two of us. Our daughter was a planned pregnancy but our son less so, although we were pretty careless with condoms around the time I conceived. My husband was just as great during the pregnancy and he did a lot with our daughter to give me breaks when I was sick. He took the week of my due date off and pampered me the whole time. Literally the minute he saw our son that all changed. He actually walked out of the delivery room. I wasn't really focused on him at the moment but it was tearing me up until I saw him again, which was when he brought our daughter to visit. He basically ignored me and our son the whole time. I knew something was wrong but I really couldn't figure it out. I thought maybe he had been hit with crazy new father-son feelings and was wrestling with them so I left him alone for a while. Finally last night I asked him what was going on and he said he'd email me because he was too angry to talk about it. This morning I received his email and it was basically him saying our son is a white baby and he is clearly not the father. He told me he won't be involved in me or our son's lives until he gets a paternity test proving he is the father. This really blew me away. I haven't told anyone I know yet because it's so new. I am kind of hoping he's being a crazy dad and we will laugh about this soon so I don't want to tell anyone and taint their image of him. At the same time I am pissed because he is saying he thinks I cheated and he can't even talk to me about it. And right now I think he's really stupid. Our son is much lighter than our daughter but he still looks like his dad. I am not doing the test but I don't know how to reply to his email other than with a big, fuck you. I feel like if I say no he will just divorce me and I don't want this to tear up an otherwise happy family. I 40 male found out my son 14 male is not my biological son, unsure of how to deal with the fallout. Infidelity. My son took a blood test at the local clinic recently. When the results came back, I was shocked to see that he had an O blood type. Neither my wife or I are O type, and so it should be an impossibility for any one of our kids to be O blood type. At first, I thought there must have been mistake made. However, as hard as it was for me to digest, I also accepted the possibility that someone else was the biological father of my son. I decided to speak with my wife about this in order to clarify what the reason was for his blood type. I spoke with my wife and told her that his results came back and he was O+ blood type. She looked very surprised when I told her, and she immediately refuted the results and said it was a mistake. Having known her since I was 20 years old, it was very easy for me to discern that she was lying. She looked extremely guilty when she refuted the results, and so I further questioned her and asked her if there was something she wanted to tell me. She went quiet and looked like she was about to cry. This basically confirmed my worst fears, but I wanted to hear it come from her mouth. She confessed she had a brief fling while on a vacation she took 15 years ago, and that the man she had the affair with was the father. I didn't expect this at all. Although, I remember during that time our marriage was essentially on the rocks. We had 2 toddlers running around, our finances weren't doing all too well, our careers weren't stable, and we were essentially roommates for a 4-year period. However, we were able to overcome our issues and have a great relationship right now. I further questioned her and asked why she never confessed to me the truth. She said she was scared and didn't want to ruin our relationship. At this point, I was too angry to continue our conversation, so I told her I was checking into a hotel and would talk to her again once I was able to collect my thoughts. I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with my wife now. I love her, I really do, but this is such a massive betrayal and I'm unsure how or if I can overcome this. As for my kids, they believe we're just having a fight, but are unaware of the details. I also don't know how to have this conversation with them. I still love my son, that hasn't changed and will never change, but this will change our relationship permanently and I'm unsure of how to effectively deal with the fallout. Throwaway because no one knows about our open relationship. I and my husband have been married for 7 years. We have an amazing relationship. He is loving, handsome, extremely successful in his career, and a doting father to our children 9F identical twins. 6 meters. He is the love of my life and I want to grow old with this person. We have an amazing sex life. But, last year I discovered that I was very much into BDSM kinks and love to be dominated. My husband had no inclination towards such kinks but I wanted to try it out badly. So I proposed an open relationship. He told me that he wasn't interested in an open relationship but wouldn't mind if I wanted it to be semi-open from my side as long as I loved him, and promised that this was not going to hurt our family. So after we discussed about this, I met people who were into this fetish and started seeing them. Later I joined a community where people talked about this and planned meet-ups. I assumed everything was fine with my relationship, but I was so wrong. Last week I discovered that my husband was going to a therapist. When I asked him about what happened, he completely broke down. He cried. He told me that he couldn't take it anymore. He told me that he has panic attacks when he imagined me all tied up and me performing sensual acts on other people. He only agreed because he was afraid I would leave him if he didn't agree. I was devastated. He was right. Over the past year I was self-absorbed. I never even bothered to check on him. I've even grown distant towards the kids. He no longer talked about anything to me. We didn't even go on our annual vacation this year. My selfish decision has led to all this. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. To be honest, my husband is a very introverted person and suffers from social anxiety, and I feel horrible now because a part of me knew that he would agree to anything I asked him, and I think I took advantage of his weakness. I've decided to end everything. But how do I mend my relationship with my family?